Today it's gonna be really amazing. Hey guys, hello Henrik, hello Alex, hello Norbert, and now even Udit.
Hello.
So hey everybody,
Guys.
I see so many of you are already joining. I see same faces as yesterday. Mario, Sam, nice to meet you all. So today's topic will be how to integrate your Facebook lead generation ads with SyncSpider. So literally that you will just press a button on Facebook Business Manager, you will launch your ads, and then you will integrate everything pretty thoroughly with SyncSpider. Is that right, Norbert?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is exactly what we do today. We will integrate some lead ads to any tool. I prepared something again, and yeah, we will show that off later on.
All right, and as usual, there are two things we need to say to you. First, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to ask, of course, in the Zoom chat. You can either use the chat or a Q&A feature, and we will be answering all your questions as usual. And if you're watching on Facebook, of course, you can comment under the Facebook video, watch party, or on the Facebook page, and we will answer your questions too. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, yes, there is another competition. Some of you actually reached out to me, and yeah, we are competing, but not for a jacket today. Right now, we will be competing for what, Norbert?
It's a polo.
It's a polo.
It's a polo shirt. SyncSpider polo shirt. Very nice, very blue with the cool printing. So here it is.
Very smart shirt.
Your shirt?
Norbert, yeah, where is it, man?
Why don't you wear it? I sent it already the other day. Yeah, of course. When Jacob comes, he will also get a polo for the team, for you guys. So.
Oh, amazing!
I guess that's the reason why Jakub is just flying down or like driving down over there.
Yeah, so absolutely. Just to get a polo and the jacket. Yeah, fully understand that.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
And the challenge for today, guys, we want to see which tools you will integrate first. So just comment to the Facebook thread in the comments and tell us which tools you will integrate with SyncSpider.
Yes, so once again, if you want to win this amazing spider swag, all you have to do is just comment in the comments like what will be the first integration you will do with SyncSpider. So make sure you will comment, and we will again pick random winner. And we still haven't picked winner for yesterday's competition, so guys, you can count on us. We will do it after this live webinar, so we'll be sending out another amazing jacket. And maybe you already noticed, I hope that you guys already noticed, but we are joined today by a very special guest, CEO and founder of PitchGround itself, Udit.
Oh, thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
And Udit is joining basically because he manages millions of dollars in Facebook ads for clients and for his own project. So he is the right guy to talk about how to use Facebook lead generation ads. So he will give us his 2 cents on this topic as well. Is that right?
Oh, definitely. I've always been like as helpful as possible. I've tried to share whatever strategies that works all the time. And in this webinar as well, that will be our goal, is to share some of the nitty-gritty of the things that we have recently learned, we have tried, we have tested, and it's working for us. Just give it a try, and hopefully it works out for you as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we are trying to these webinars make different. A lot of webinars just talk about value, but they don't tell you about how to do it. And we just want to be completely straightforward. So you will take some actionable advices from this webinar you can apply almost immediately in your business. So stick around till the end, because this will be very interesting, especially if you're online marketing and Facebook marketing. So Norbert, Alex, Udit, I think we can start by just a quick presentation as usual, and then we can dig into the details.
Would you like to start, Judith, or should I just go through the basics and then the webinar from you and the presentation, or what would you prefer?
I think it will be better if we just show a bit of presentation, let everyone get into the mood of Facebook ads. I would come in, I would sprinkle some magic on it, and then we'll get back to you.
That's great. So let me just share my screen. And there we go. So, as we discussed already, today we're talking about Facebook lead generation. And my part for this webinar is to show you how and why it is so important to work with the leads you generate through Facebook right away. So what you see here is some possibilities that you could do with SyncSpider, the universal e-commerce middleware that also is able to connect web apps. So you can send the data to any of those tools you see here and much, much more. So you even could send Facebook leads directly to your e-commerce store. You can send it directly to your CRM. You could send it to a Google Sheet, but this is a common use case so that you get your Facebook lead and send it for, let's say, Lemlist, which is an email outreach tool. So you can program that and do the steps of an email sequence. And it's really important that you reach out immediately to a user after the lead has been given from Facebook. Why is this the case? So the Facebook leads itself is the fastest way to apply to an ad. So it's the fastest way to sign up for something, to sign up for a newsletter, to sign up for an offer that you give in the ad, and to get the contact data. It's really the fastest way because it pop-ups in the browser of the user, also on mobiles, and everything is pre-filled already. Users just need to extend with a few field values that they might need or that you might need for the lead. And then they just press one button and they are in. So this is really the fastest way. And Facebook gives you great targeting possibilities. So you can really target niches that you are after, and really reach your audience with that. So this is something that Judith will give you more insights out of that. And it's a fast outreach. So it's simply fast setup, and then you have a very fast input to get those leads. And automation matters because the moment that an interest is a potential user or potential buyer is pressing that button of the lead to send you the data, this is where the interest is the strongest. So in this moment, the person who presses the button really shows interest into your product or into your service. And people browse and forget. So if you don't do anything at that moment when they sign up for your service, then they will forget you. So you need to warm up this person again. So when the email notification comes that you got the lead and you are off at that time, you're not on your computer, on your smartphone, and you don't contact the person immediately, then the lead is already getting colder and colder again. So you can forget about to reach out. This is something what can happen. So you have that email. Even it happened to me even in the early stages when I did not have any automation in place. My first steps into those Facebook leads thing was I got the email somewhere around, let's say 10 o'clock in the evening, 10 p.m. And at 10 p.m. you don't reach out to someone personally anymore. So you don't call them or you don't write a personal email. Doesn't look good if they get the email at the time, if it's from your region. You mark it for the other day. And on the other day, there are 10 other emails already, or 100 in my case, or 150 or something like that. And you simply can forget about this. You can forget about to reach out. This doesn't happen if it's automated. And there are some common mistakes that you might know at Espresso, and they have a very good blog about what to do and what not to do, and how to solve things on Facebook. And they have identified several mistakes. So mistake number one, and this is it's not so important for automation, but it is one mistake that that is also interesting because of the form fields. So not including the right instant form fields for capture lead, so that you don't have the right information that you ask your prospects for, is one mistake. It does matter because you can include such information also in the automations that I will show you later on. So if you need the company name, for instance, then add it, because you could use it in your automation. If you need something like the niche where the person is working in, then include it, because you can also use it in the automation later on, and write more specific and more direct messages in your email sequence. And mistake number 2, and this is what I highlighted, is not to automate follow-up process after sign-up. This is the second mistake that you can do, and the common mistake that you can do, because of all the facts that we mentioned here, that there is a strong interest at that moment when someone clicks the button. Okay? So, and I would like to show you now how you can set up in SyncSpider an automation from Facebook leads to Lemlist or any other tool. Ready?
We are ready, but before we'll jump into it, I just want to thank you all for commenting all the integrations you will do with SyncSpider. By commenting, you are entering the competition for amazing SyncSpider Polo. So, for example, Darren Hodgkinson, Google Sheets, WordPress, Facebook. Victor Ivan, Google Sheets to WooCommerce and Shopify. Ankit,
great.
Google Sheets to ActiveCampaign, and many, many more. So thanks a lot, guys. And we have one question so far. So I will let's quickly answer it and then jump into the presentation. And the question is from Sam, who's watching on Zoom. So hello, Sam, and thanks for this question. He's asking, send the email list integration without going through Zapier?
Yeah, that is the question, right?
That is the question.
Well, with SyncSpider, you don't need Zapier.
Yeah, that's the good part.
That's the good part.
Basically, SyncSpider.
Money, guys.
Yeah.
Well, we can connect Zapier though, if you want it. Just put it on the integrations request on the syncspider.feedbeer.com. No, just kidding. So with SyncSpider, you simply don't need Zapier. You send the contact directly to your newsletter software, or to your email outreach software, or to your CRM, and you trigger the emails from there.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. So step number 1, as usual, create a task. Pick your source integration. So here are many of my integrations that are already implemented. If you want to implement Facebook or a new Facebook integration, just hit it here from the Add New integration. If you have Facebook implemented already for the first time, you have it here in your existing integrations list. If you have as many integrations as I have, just begin to type Facebook, and then you just pick here the Facebook integration, and you see it here already that is as a source integration added. You click the next button. You could give the task a name, by the way, by just clicking in here and say it's Facebook leads to Lemlist PitchGround, so I can find it again. And then you pick the target integration. In this case, it's the Lemlist. I also added it here, but I would like to show you for Lemlist specifically what you would need to do to integrate with Lemlist. So you click here. I am adding a new Lemlist integration. You just click here on Lemlist. Then you give it a name. This is my Lemlist whatever. So that you can find it again, hit the next button, and all you need to do is to add your API key. When you're within Lemlist, you find the API key on the settings and integration settings, and here is the API key. You copy it and you paste it here and click on finish, and then we do add the integration here, and we say here this is the Lemlist integration, and here is the Lemlist whatever. This is the one that I just integrated. So I pick it as the target. It's also leads, so I can't write anything else to Lemlist but leads. This is okay. We don't need anything more. And hit the next button. And now we are in the source configuration. So what you can do here is when the Facebook account of you is connected, you're asked which pages you would like to allow us to read. And here I have chosen 3 pages: our agency, SyncSpider, and DragDropper. And I will pick the agency one, Monoband, because there we have a lead form currently running. And then you can choose the form. So you will also see all the forms that are on that site. I click here the VAS website leads and go to the next section. Now I am asked which filter to use, so I can choose which leads I would like to have. I could now export all the leads, so everything that is on the list can be exported, or I can set a date from where all the leads should be sent, or I can say only the leads created after the last import. So when you start off, the first time you might get all the leads, and the second time you want to have just the leads that are important after the first time. So you change that specific setting here, and you're done, and you always get the fresh and warm leads via the automations. I will now pick only after the last import, and yeah, I will keep the form date because I don't know when we have the leads here. So, and then we have the mapping screen. These are all the fields that Lemlist allows you, and these are all the fields that we have from the form. You see here German tags because they're sent, my form is set up in German language. This is why I see German names here, and you will see it, of course, in your language, and you need to do just to translate those fields that you get from Facebook to the fields that are available in Lemlist. So we would also see custom fields. If you have set up in Lemlist some custom fields like niche or like company name, which is actually there, you will see those fields and you can map it. The same thing is if you add specific form fields to Facebook. We have here the case that, for instance, Facebook just gives us the full name, which means vollständiger Name is full name, and Lemlist, for instance, just gives us first name and last name. So what you would need to do in that case is to set up one field that you call first name, last, or that you call full name or whatever, because this is just something that from Facebook is given. So you need to consider that. Or you change the fields of the form, and instead doing a first name, last name, you give, instead doing a full name, you give first name, last name. So this is also an option to just modify your field. What I now will do is just, I will send the full name here to the first name, which is also okay for automations. I will map the email. I will have a company name here. And we need to specify a campaign ID. This is something that you find in Lemlist, because Lemlist needs to know in which campaign the users should be written. So I just hop over here to Lemlist, and I go to my campaigns. And I have here a no-name campaign. I just pick that one. And here is the campaign ID. It's that string here. Okay. I just copy that into my clipboard, hop back to SyncSpider, and now here is the cool feature. We have something that we call the constant value. So the constant value is always there. It does not come from the source integration. It's always on top of the mapping screen at the side of the source. And it gives you the option to set anything that should be sent to the target system. I will map it here, and a pop-up will appear that allows me to enter this constant value. And I just paste here the campaign ID and hit the done button. So this is everything I need to do, and I have mapped the whole campaign. Click on the next button, and here is my description, my name. Here's my description, what it will do: send lead from Facebook leads to Lemlist, whatever lead. And I can again specify who should be notified in case of success, if I want to have a success email, and who should be, more important, notified in case of a failure. And I see all the users of my account here, and I can send it to them. So when to start the task? Well, this is a schedule, and I want to have a repeat every 15 minutes or every hour at minute 15. If I want to have 15 minutes, I just do duplicate the scheduler and say here end at 30 minutes and at 45 minutes. And so I have an every 15-minute interval for sending those leads to my system. We will also extend this at Facebook. Instead of a scheduler, we will also have an event, because as far as I understood and have seen, Facebook is able to send events already after a lead has been given, and we will extend it so you can not only use schedulers, so you can also pick on event, which means every time a lead is added, it will be here. I will just remove those triggers here because we don't need it for the demo here, and I don't want to let it run later on. And I just enable that task here and click the finish button. Now we have it here in our task list. So let me search for PitchGround. And you see here already, this is my task. Facebook leads to LAM list via PitchGround. And what I will do now is I go to that specific form and just run a preview here. Okay, so I give my name. This is Judith. This is Judith plus pitch. No, let's call it like this. Norbert plus PitchGround at Monoband AT. Telephone number is whatever, and this is PitchGround. PitchGround. Okay, here we go. Next, then I need to confirm. And now the form is filled. And what I will do now is I just play that task. So we are here then on the logging screen, the log screen. The task is queued for execution. We are at the moment contacting Facebook and asking them if they have new leads for us. Meanwhile, we can go to our LAM list and check the campaign review. So here we go. All that one, and
so right now the phone of Mark Zuckerberg is ringing because you're asking for the leads.
yeah. So what I can't do here is you need to configure the campaign sender to be able to review. Okay, let me check. Settings, maybe. Let me check how this works here. I'm not the LAM list user. It doesn't matter. It will appear also here at bodies to be. So let's see.
Maybe refresh, I think.
So basically, goal of this integration is that somebody will leave their contact details on Facebook through app, and then like automatically everything goes from the email.
From the email, exactly. So as I can't access those review thing here, I need to check that. But it's not about LAM list, but it's there. So SyncSpider already reported that one has been added, and we can check this in the logs. So this is the log that I ran, and you see here that we finished one item that has been exported, and it should appear on the LAM list, but I can't access this review thing, so I can show you, but I think it doesn't matter. You can try it yourself.
Maybe their API is probably slow, so maybe just give it some time.
No, it's because I can't access this. I need to configure something here in LAM list. So you need to configure the campaign sender to be able to review. So I'm currently not allowed to review, but it doesn't matter. So you can see it like this, and we can also go back to the project and just create. Let's go here, PitchGround, and just duplicate here that one. Okay. For Facebook, that application is not allowed because we need to access Facebook. I need to create a new one, no problem. Just give me here a second, and we will export it to whatever. It doesn't matter. So where have we Facebook? This one leads. We can also send it elsewhere. So let's pick, let's say, a CSV file, custom CSV.
It's pretty straightforward, like the flow.
I really like the new UI.
Yeah, the new UI is a huge step forward.
Yeah.
Nobody knows about the old one.
That's true.
Let's not talk about it.
So for
Maybe after like a year we'll post like before and after picture.
yeah, would be fun actually. So CSV is also very interesting because for CSV I can give so let's call it Facebook leads, so I can give it a name, and I get an URL here as well, the output URL, so I can pick that URL later on in the browser, and I want to have a semicolon field, and here I want to have the full name and the email and the company. So I gave that a name. Then I click next and let's see the fields here. I can map it. So full name, email, company, and I can enable the task here. And this one is called Facebook leads to CSV, and hit finish. Facebook leads to CSV, and I can run this as well. And again, we are ringing Mark. Hey, Mark, would you please be so kind to give us the latest leads?
I think imagine like if he has that like Shopify kind of like mobile app where every time someone makes a purchase, you get like the ring notification. So imagine every time like an advertiser makes a payment, you will be getting that ringing notification. It's going to be pretty crazy at that stage.
I'm pretty sure it will. Okay, and while we are waiting, I think Judith, you should jump in and tell us a bit more about those options that people have on Facebook.
Brilliant. So I'm going to be talking a bit more about the targeting, how to get started with your first campaign, and don't worry too much about like optimization right now, but especially with regards to lead form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Norbert, you might have to pause your.
Yeah, I stop it. Okay.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just going to show one of this very recent campaign that I ran for a company over here. You guys can Google and figure out. I cannot reveal the name, but I have left it smart enough for you guys to Google and figure out what's the name of the company. So one of the very important thing whenever you're starting any campaign is to select the lead generation over here. If you need that form to come in where everything is like pre-filled by Facebook, then this is the option that you need to select up. And when you get started with that, you will be presented with the whole screen and everything. And let's go past that. And I'm just going to dive into the very first example in terms of how I really set up some of my campaigns and how those leads are generated. And then the second part, which was how to export your leads, has been explained by Norbert already. So let's take an example of this particular campaign over here. If you see, I have a naming convention for every single ad set. This way, I don't need to go ahead, click on edit, and understand and look into every time what exactly is that particular ad set. So it's very important that as you keep going on, make sure that your ad sets naming conventions are very clear. It's very, very important because that will save you time when you're working on any sort of optimization. It's just going to save you a lot of time. So this particular campaign was a 2-day campaign that I ran very recently, where this is approximately around like 1 lakh, which translates to around $1,600 for 2 days of spending. And the goal was to generate close to around at least like 100 to 200 leads, anywhere between that, where the ideal goal was to make sure that the cost per lead shouldn't exceed more than $20, because they were selling a real estate property which was approximately worth $300,000 to $400,000 per unit. So at that point of stage, $20 was the maximum they wanted to spend. So they got fantastic results out of it because they got some amazing conversions from the whole campaign. So now it's very important that you always split your campaign and you split the way you target. So one of the most important thing to understand when you're targeting someone is whom are you targeting? Who is that ideal persona? Who is that ideal customer of yours? How does that customer looks like? It's very important to do that. So in my case, the unit of each of those property was approximately around 300 to 400K, which is not possible for an average Joey to buy, who's someone who is doing a job, a 9 to 5 job in India, and they're probably making around $1,000 a month or $800 a month, or maybe $1,500 a month. It's not possible for them to buy a $300 to $500,000 unit. So at that point of stage, this is where you need to be very smart, and you need to start targeting the CEOs, the CMOs. So this is where you know that Yakub is making a lot of money, you know. So you got to start targeting people like Yakub at that point of stage. You got to start targeting people like Alexander. You got to start targeting people like Norbert. They are the ones who are at the top of the league, and they are the ones who are making money, you know. So this is why it's very important to target those right people, because they are the ones who will most likely going to take the next step in their life of buying a property for themselves, right? And when they see something that can resonate, and they can imagine, okay, this is what my ideal home should look like, there's a very high chance that they would end up submitting their details. And once you get the details, you have already done 25 to 30% of your job at that point of stage. So rest of the 70% just purely comes down to the closure, how good you are with the follow-ups and everything. But 30% of your job is already done at that point of stage. So targeting is key in any niche, no matter what. It's very essential that any niche that you targeting is extremely important, especially when you combine it with several things. So if you see over here, the way I have set up my targeting is a little very unique. On top of that, I'm going to go through the entire campaign from the top so that you can understand a bit more. The very first thing, what I have done is, so in Mumbai, there are different zip codes where the range of the property units are different than other parts of the region in Mumbai. And that pretty much happens in every single country, every single city. Every area has got a different price point. So at that point of stage, the regions that I'm targeting are the regions where the property units are usually sold for around $500,000 to $1 million, and maybe above. Some of the properties are even $5 million and $10 million units, right? So if someone is living over there, most likely they are either paying a rent of around $3,000 to $4,000 a month, or they are making good money and they own the property. No one else would be living in those areas. So this is why start using Zip as your location. Start targeting locations, and then range it around from a kilometer or a mile from that particular radius. When you do that, you get so precise with your targeting that even Google doesn't allow you to do that, because with Google, it is all buyer intent. But with Facebook, you can actually reach out, knock their door, and say that, hey, I'm here to sell you the property. Would you be interested in buying? But that's not the case with Google. So this is where Facebook can really, really be special in terms of reaching out to your ideal persona. So again, location is very key. You need to understand your area, especially if you are selling anything locally. You need to understand what is your product range, where would they sell the most, in which area would they sell the most. When you are able to understand that, you will be able to hit and get a much better targeting that will lead to a much better conversion. So you need to know your ideal persona and your ideal audience. Second, the age group that I have targeted over here is from 30 to 50. Now, it's very highly unlikely that someone who is 21 to 25 will ever buy their own property. They're just starting out their career. So there is no way in the world that they would be able to think about getting their own unit, their own home. It's practically very difficult, and there is a very small percentage of those people would potentially be in that zone. So it doesn't make sense to even target those people. But someone who is in the age group of 30 to 50 are more likely to make the purchase, because they have spent at least 10 years of their life as professional, and that means they have their savings in place, they have things in place for them, and either they own a property or they rent a property. They are more likely to submit the details. So again, it's very, very important that you select your age group correctly. So once you identify the ideal location, the next thing you need to do is you need to identify the age group. Once you identify the age group, the next thing that you need to do is target people who potentially have money. It's most likely going to be vice presidents, then CEOs, then CMOs, and all these top level executives. Those are the ones that you need to target. Secondly, what I have done is I've created a persona that, okay, Facebook, target people in that region from the age group of 70 to 30 who are CEOs and CMOs, and at the same time they have been engaged in any sort of online shopping, right? When you do that, you know that they are likely to submit the details more because they have made a purchase through Facebook previously. They have clicked on some of the other ad, they have taken out their credit card, and they have made the purchase. When you are able to target that precisely, you are taking your ad game to a whole different level. And then Facebook gives you such an interesting interest that I doubt many people even know about it, which is known as first-time buyers. Facebook has the data that you don't own a home. I don't know how they get it. They buy it from some other places, but they have this data where if they know that, because usually what happens is if you end up moving to a place, right, you end up updating your location that I have moved to this particular location, right? But if you end up buying a property, you would take a picture, you will post it, and you would make an update on your status saying that, hey, I have bought my first property, I've bought my first home. And sadly, you're giving all the data to Facebook. So this way Facebook understands that, okay, this is the first time buyer. And then I've further gone down and targeted very precise interest. So this way, what I'm saying, and I'm telling Facebook that, hey, Facebook, target this zip location because the unit prices over there are the highest. Age group should be 30 to 50. CMOs and CEOs are the ones I'm targeting, and they should be the first-time buyers, and they need to also be interested in other real estate interests that is out there. Once you do all these things, you are building such an amazing ad set for yourself. And look at the data over here. There is a potential of 160,000 users in Mumbai alone, in those region alone, whom I can reach out to sitting behind this computer. I can knock their door and I can tell them, I have your dream home. Would you be interested in buying your first dream home? So when you do that, people, when they see those level of copies, they are very inclined towards at least inquiring what exactly it is. And that inquiry and that inquiry is what leads to taking the next step, which is going out there, checking out the property. And when they see something like that, you get emotionally connected, because when you buy your first home, you are very emotional about it, because that is the biggest purchase of your life you would ever make, unless you're buying Ferrari and Lamborghini. So that is going to be your second biggest purchase, but your first biggest purchase is always going to be your home. So at that point of time, people are very emotional, and salespeople, they use that emotional tactics as a way to hit on your mindset emotionally. So there is a lot of psychological copies that gets implemented at the same time. So maybe we can talk about that later on. But when you do that, this is the result that you get. I got 20 leads where 15,000 people saw this particular ad, and I got 20 leads, and these guys ended up closing about 3 people from these 20 leads, which was $500,000 unit. I have literally spent $150 and I helped them close $1.5 million. Look at
That's
the
a good
ROI.
ROI.
That is a crazy ROI right there. And apart from that, they also got like some sales from this particular ad sets as well. But this ad set just converted crazily for them. They're still like talking to them and stuff, following up. But $150 and the ROS is $1.5 million. That's insane. If you're not using Facebook ads, you are missing out. And again, if you're just starting out, don't dive into Facebook ads. It's not for you as of now. You really need to spend some time to build some organic reach. You need to build some organic audience, some organic pixels. You need to nurture your pixels a bit before diving into Facebook ads. So don't just like build up a brand new site and start Facebook ads unless and until you know your game properly. Because if you don't do that, you would end up burning money very badly. You need to understand your funnels. You need to understand your lead magnets. You need to understand what you're selling. You need to understand how much you can spend on a particular lead. and what is your conversion rate at the moment. You need to understand all these metrics. If you don't have these metrics with you, then don't start as of now. But keep in mind that this is something that you can implement for your clients. If you are running an agency and if you want to dive into Facebook ad agency, these are the things that you can implement right away. And again, no gimmick, nothing. We are not posting any sort of screenshot like usually other people do. This is live from my account that I'm showing you guys. So everything is live. I will just refresh once again just to show you guys that all these data are 100% real data. So this is key. This is important, that
And
do things rightly. And when you do that, no one can stop you.
Udit,
Norbert, over to you.
tell us a bit about how did you process those leads? So what was the output? Was this lead sent via email to your client, or and they just called them, or is there any automation in place that works with the leads?
So this was before I was using Inspire. I was directly downloading the CSV and giving it to them, because the problem was most of these corporates, they are not into CRM. They have never used CRMs in their life. They are used to using Excel sheets.
Yeah.
So it was such a difficult task, because I would keep following up with them, because I was responsible to deliver them good ROI, right? So they need to constantly update me like, hey, what is the status of the lead? What is going on, right? I got to push the salespeople at times, like, just go out there, like send some sweets or something, just send something to them. Sometimes when you go a little personal with your leads, a lot of things can happen. So just do that. A lot of magic can happen after that. So I had to like push them a bit and stuff. But it was kind of like a nightmare of a situation, but they are still like implementing the CRM slowly. Once they do that, that's when like I'll implement Inspire for them and automate the whole process for them. But until then, it's going to be a nightmare of a situation. For small companies, it's a lot easier to adapt, make that change. But for corporates, they need permission. That permission guy needs another permission guy. That another permission guy needs the CMO permission level.
So would it be possible, for example, when lead comes through Facebook lead ads, to send this lead via email to some sales rep or a realtor who'd like call this lead and immediately close him, or just not close but get him on call?
Well, not just sending sending an email is currently not supported in Inspire, but what you could do is you can create the CSV file automatically and get the CSV file in the feed, as you've seen before, via OL. So the users just will get one URL. Let me share my screen again quickly. So they will have that feed URL here, and every time they open that URL, they will download the latest leads. So this is the cool thing about it. They just open up that URL, and you see the file is loaded, and so they always have the latest leads without sending anything. They just need to remind that specific link here, and you also could connect their FTP server or SFTP server and store it directly on their machines if they prefer it. So to give a lead over, the most elegant way would be to create a Google Sheet and to share the Google Sheet with them, which is then always updated with the latest data. But corporates mostly don't allow their users to accept such invitations. Mm-hmm. So a CSV file is the most common thing here. That is when you work with corporates, it's always the same. It's hard to implement something on their side. So this is a comfortable way to transfer this.
Yeah, but I was
okay. Go on.
I was thinking also when Judith was showing that if you have Judith and you have like 20 leads for what you say 1.5 million return of investment for $150 US, that's just crazy. You don't need any automation. You can just go through those 20 leads. But as you said, you needed to follow up with them and move on and forward. But
it's all about automating as much as possible, Alexander, and it's all about creating multiple touch points, because the thing is, if you are buying a half $500,000 property, you're not gonna close them like in a day of time. That's impossible. Of course. The whole sales cycle for especially any sort of home units can go and range anywhere from 2 to 6 months, because there are issues about financing. People need to get the finance done, and the loan needs to get approved by the bank. So there is a whole process out there. So usually it can take anywhere from like 3 to 6 months. And this is where it's very important to keep in touch with them and follow up with them, because ultimately the biggest secret recipe of selling is following up. That's all. That's all you have to do. If you can't follow up, then you cannot get into sales, basically.
Of course. So one of the typical examples what you can do with SynSpider, and that's why we build those funnels. And when you think about funnels and how you're gonna adapt them depending on what leads are you getting. So usually people would just as you're gathering leads, SynSpider will automatically transfer those leads to, let's say, Lemlist, because it's a cool email automated program, and that then you put them automatically in a campaign, which will later on send special emails depending on your funnel as well to those leads. And when you get any response from those leads of yours, then SynSpider can send that lead automatically to your CRM, let's say Freshdesk. So we are automatically shrinking down for, I don't know, thousands of leads. You're sending to them emails, and when somebody responds, you send them to Freshdesk, and in Freshdesk, sales teams take overs and then moves on to close the sale.
So basically using automation to warm up the whole lead before you reach out to. I really like what you said, Norbert, with Google Sheets, because as far as I know, you can use SynSpider Google Sheet as a source, right? That you will like use Google Sheet as a source, and it will be automatically updated and sending the data to different apps, right?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
That's amazing. Okay. So there are a few questions. By the way, Udit, thanks a lot. This was super insightful. This
also for us, I even took screenshots. We'll implement some things.
As long as it can benefit people, I'm more than happy to keep sharing. Just make sure you implement it. That's very important. Just don't listen to these webinars, listen to these advices, and try to and implement it after a year, because what I'm sharing right now is not going to work after 1 month. I can tell you that. The pace at which Facebook is moving at the time, by the time you wake up, you have something new in your Facebook ad account, by the way. So at this kind of pace, if you don't start right now, it's better that you don't even start, because if you're going to look at old video and then try to implement it after a month, 2 months, 3 months, it is not going to work at all. The strategies keeps changing, and you just need to experiment a lot. You need to understand, because the more someone shares, right, the more people start implementing those strategies. And when more people start implementing those strategies, your cost per click and your cost per lead, your whole cost per acquisition goes up, because everyone is following the same strategy.
Yeah.
Everyone is targeting the same interest. So then at that point of stage, you are competing with people. So that's why if you have heard something, go and implement today. Don't even wait for tomorrow, because someone else would be lazy and you take the advantage of someone's laziness.
Alex, can you stay longer today?
I'm always staying longer.
Yeah, me too.
That's why I'm buying a house on Florida, you know.
Oh,
Alex,
good.
Alex
nice.
would be thinking that I'm not getting Udit in the next webinar now.
No Udit anymore. No, thank you. By the way, guys, if you want this beautiful polo shirt from SynSpider, so forget me, see the polo shirt. So here we go. And with the nice printing, it's a great blue shirt with cool printing on it, SynSpider. Then please comment to the Facebook thread and tell us which integration you would like to use next on SynSpider. What will you do when you have the deal finally, when it's there? What will you implement? This is all we want to know. And randomly, we will choose one of you guys, and the shirt is yours.
Yeah, and so many people are already commenting. Nitin, Facebook leads to Groundhog, CRM, InRebel, WordPress to Encharge.io. Max, sync Facebook leads to Klaviyo, then automate personal outreach by sending an email to the leads through Gmail. I love it, guys. You're really thorough with your integrations.
That's
and
cool.
Before we'll jump into 4 questions, so far what I see, I would like to take a step back and talk a little bit about following up, because Udit, you said that Pavel is in the follow-up. And recently I was listening to a podcast about really interesting statistic that average sales rep reach out follow-ups 5 times but average customer makes a purchase after 7th follow-up. So like sales reps are giving up way too easy, way too soon. So if you're running sales team, make sure that they will follow up at least 7 times
If
to
we
the
have
customer.
enough time, then I would love to share one story.
Of
It's an
course, we
amazing
have time,
story.
Alex,
Okay.
right?
So when I was running my first company, Power Posting, I was in Los Angeles, and there was this one guy from Cogent Communication. I'm not going to name him, but there was one guy from Cogent Communication, and Cogent Communication is the biggest network ISP in the United States, and they're the one who are powering the internet to Netflix, basically. So the new sales rep was following up with us almost every single week, and we kept saying him, no, we're not interested, and after 2 months he changed his strategy. So what he started doing was he was like, hey guys, like I'm around in downtown Los Angeles, are you guys around? I'm gonna get you the best sandwich of your life. That's gonna make you nuts. And he knew that, like, with since I'm from India, I love sandwiches, and I only had limited options because I'm vegetarian. So I have very limited resources, right? So I don't know. He did some research on my Facebook ad and stuff, and he figured out some way that I'm vegetarian, or he just made a guess because most Indians are vegetarians. So he just made a wild guess, and he was like, "This vegetarian restaurant is amazing." Now he got my attention. I'm like, dude, you hit in my weak nerve, you know. So I was like, all right, let's meet, right? I ended up going over there, and man, that was the best sandwich. And in fact, the name of the shop was Sandwich Shop itself. So, and during the lunchtime, there used to be a long queue of almost half an hour. But he made the setting with the owner, because he was going over there every single day. He would take all his clients over there. That was his, like, the spot to close deals, basically. So he just invited me over there, and he was like, don't worry, like, I have the setting with the owner directly, so I'm just going to take you over there, and don't worry, like, we'll skip all the queue and stuff. And I was like, I feel like Indian all the way again, you know. So we went over there. He got the sandwiches. Man, that was some amazing sandwich, and he built such a strong touch point after that with us, that from not being interested at all, ignoring him, we actually started responding to his question, and we were like, no, we're not ready right now. We just need some more time. And we told him, let's follow up after 3 months. He followed up exactly after 3 months, exactly the same date. He followed up, and he then got us. He invited us to one of the best Japanese restaurant in downtown LA, which was on 27th floor. I still remember the lunch costed around $700. It was the most costliest lunch I have ever eaten in my entire life, because it was just 4 people: me, my co-founder, the sales guy, and his manager. So we went over there. We had we were spending some time, and once again, he never spoke about sales. He was just speaking about his experiences. He started making bullshit stories, because if you are a salesperson, you need to make bullshit stories. You need to be very good with stories, right? And the more you talk about stories, the more you incline and attract people towards you. That's very important skill set of telling stories, which I'm doing right now, by the way, right? So stories are so crucial part of your success journey, of your sales journey, that it can help you close the biggest client. And after that lunch, we ended up shaking hands, and we ended up closing deal. And he ended up closing $150,000 deal right then and there, which was his biggest closure, I think, during that time. And he instantly got promoted, because closing $150,000 customer a year, that's not a small joke, especially when he's a rookie salesperson. And after that, he never stopped. I'm still in touch with the guy. He's reached to a whole new level in the company. And it's just incredible how you can just observe other people and learn from other people, and try to get the best out of them, and then implement those into your strategy. So always be around good people, always be around energetic people, and always be around people who can actually make you worth and feel something, and you can learn out of them. And when you're able to do that, when you're able to grasp those good things, good things will happen to you after that.
It's
Absolutely.
incredible what one
Fully
sandwich
agree.
can do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
incredible. If you
$150,000 sandwich.
no, actually the sandwich was cheaper. It was $15 a sandwich.
Yeah.
So $15 a sandwich, still not cheap, but still. But that place is incredible, man. I got so obsessed with that place that I started going over there every single day, and that became my lunch spot basically. And I would find him over there hanging out quite often. So that's when I knew that he's hanging out all his leads and he's bringing them to the same place. And then I asked him that. And then he like made a confession that, hey, like I do it for all the leads, you know. So at that point of stage, he started sharing a lot of the things that he implemented, that he did things, and how he and the psychology behind closing those big leads and doing the big closures. And that is something that you need to learn from other people. Everyone is good at something.
Yeah.
Try and get that good thing from that person, because you can learn, and the best way of learning is by observing other people.
All right.
Absolutely, fully
Absolutely.
agree. Yeah.
And working with them as well.
Yeah, there's a saying that if you are the smartest person in the room, you should change the room.
Absolutely, yeah, you should.
All right, let's jump into the questions.
Yeah.
I see a question from Gavrap. Sorry, Gavrap, that it took so long, but we had some things to share. And the question is, can you incorporate custom HTML integration for other less known autoresponders?
We are working already. So Vladimir started with that already with HTML form capture. So you can implement the JavaScript snippet to a page, and we grab the form entries directly from there. So it's in progress.
All right, perfect.
And if you have an idea what we should implement, syncspider.feedbeer.com, put it there.
It's a feed bear like an animal,
it's
not beer, feed beer like a beverage.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Austria.
We will feed ourselves beer in 2 days when we go on the conference.
We will.
Anyway,
Mario will take a feed beer. Yeah, everyone I think will take a feed beer.
Another question from Vincent, really relevant, is other integration tools only integrate with global apps? As a local agency, sometimes we also use local apps. Can you also help the local apps users to do integration with each other or some global apps?
If you mean with local apps that you have either small web applications, yes, we can. If there is a CSV feed that we can have, or if they are willing to use our open universal API to connect with us, you can use that. If you mean a Windows application that is used, then you also can install our Windows software that is connecting the local Windows software with our SyncSpider web app. And then you can also get leads directly from a database directly to SyncSpider and to tools that you want.
All right. Question from Joseph. Have you guys thought about syncing Twilio data for call tracking purposes and pay-per-call campaigns?
We have a Twilio integration already. We might see what it can do for you. Let's check it out, and maybe it's already there what you need. And if not, then please use the feedback mechanism to get the things covered.
All right, feedback mechanism is again SyncSpider
feedbear. No, feedbear.
Feedbear.
Just kidding.
And all right, another question from Victor. Any road plan for Google Ads lead form as well?
Same again, the feedbear thing. Okay. So we have already a personal touch with Google partners. So they reached out recently when we became sponsored by Google with the Google Cloud. So we are in their startup program, and we are on the Google Cloud. And then they also asked us if we would like to integrate more deeply with the Google Ads platform. We have it already on our roadmap. We have discussions with them, and we also got assigned a development partner to discuss all the things. And as far as I know, Costa is already in touch with them to get the next steps up and running. So something like that will be there. If there is anything to grab via form, it will be there.
All right. Thanks a lot. Another question.
Mario, thank you very much. I hope that this with the beer is cool. Thank you. You will buy me a beer wherever we meet. And I'll buy you the second one.
And then we repeat process. All right. Question from Sean. Is SyncSpider only aiming at contact syncing, or will there also be options like in Zapier, for example, in quotes, if new file in Dropbox folder sent to social B as a new post?
Yes, it will be files. It will cover files as well, but not yet at this data. So as we discussed already in the other webinars, we started to be an e-commerce connector. This is where we come from. We have very, very extensive e-commerce features, very deep integrated into e-commerce solutions. And we started to implement apps in March this year. So far, we built 30 apps that are integrated, and we continue integrating apps one by one. We can cover up to 10 apps per month, but it will be a bit less. It will be 4 to 6 apps, but we already seen we can cover 10 apps if they are easy. So we do it step by step, and we will bring at least as well such things as sending files as well. So this will be there.
All right. Another question, last one so far was that what I see. Will SyncSpider work with bots?
With bots or with bots?
Bots.
With bots.
Odus,
Yeah, bots.
Odus. Okay. Is already on the roadmap, has some votes already. Vote for it. It will be the first thing that we will implement because it was a PitchGround LTD as far as I remember. And therefore it will be one of the first bots that we will implement. Yeah.
All right.
And ActiveChat as well. ActiveChat is also, because ActiveChat works with webhooks. So as soon as webhooks are released, which is pretty soon, ActiveChat will work as well already.
All right. I see a question from Darren. And he's asking, will we be able to do things like if this, then that, so I can replace IFTTT?
Not yet, or yes, via workaround. So via workaround, we have filters. So you can use the filters to match the if term, but you need to create several tasks with those different filters. And then you have exactly that behavior, but not as convenient as in if that. If then that, and we will have something like that implemented. Yes, we are already analyzing how this could work, and we have something that we will allow you to run a task after another task. So you can specify after a task which task should run next, and then you can set up this let's say if this then that routes.
All right. I hope we answered your question, Darren. If not, please just elaborate in the chat. And let me. I don't see any questions. Any other questions so far?
One last question from Kiran.
Okay.
Kiran is asking, will SyncSpider work with bot platforms? I guess this is. I think is an integration with like ManyChat or something coming.
Yeah, we just
discussed it. Yeah, we answered that already. Yeah, it is. So ManyChat, ActiveChat, and Odus.
All right, perfect.
I guess that's pretty much about it.
Yeah, so guys, if you have any other questions, keep it coming. Let me quickly share my screen to inform you when we are going live again. And on Thursday.
There's one more question, Jakub, just a moment. It's from Victor, and he's asking, I need vote plan for Google Ads lead form as well.
We answered that as well already.
Okay. All right.
All right. So on Thursday, on October 10th, I travel to Vienna to interview Norbert and Alex. By the way, will be there anyone else?
e-commerce Austria, the most important e-commerce conference here. need to do some promotions for those e-commerce guys.
Yeah. I mean, but Norbert, will be there some other people from your team, or will I be talking again with Alex and you only?
Alex and me, and our sales key account manager is also there. So Michael will be there as well.
Sales guy cannot miss the conference.
No, a sales guy cannot miss the conference for sure.
I hope that you gave him a good amount of business cards.
Yeah, or just take some sandwiches. I'm telling you, sandwiches are better than business cards, you know.
All right, guys. So make sure you will join on October 10th. And then you will need to wait 4 days before we launch. It will be the longest 4 days in your life, but it will be worth it, I promise.
And we have a countdown.
And we have a countdown. So
we have again, don't stop commenting. We're still here.
Yeah.
This is the prize.
So
it's the shirt.
Yeah, we will announce the winners tomorrow, and we'll announce the winners of yesterday's competition today after this live webinar. So again, thanks a lot for joining, guys.
Thank you.
Make sure you will go here to syncspider.pitchground.com, and you can still register for these two webinars. This is actually a live session from the conference, but this will be webinar again, and you will join us as usual. So that's about it right now. And for the last time, if you want to win SyncSpider Polo, all you have to do is comment under the Facebook live video what's the first integration you want to do with SyncSpider, and we will pick a random winner tomorrow, and we will send you the Polo. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Nope.
Just thank you all for being here.
Thank you very much. It was really fun again. And Judith, thank you so much for jumping in and giving us so much value. It was so interesting, even for us. So this is really, really great.
All right. Thanks, Norbert. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Udit. And we will talk soon.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.
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 Great one.